Hello, I can do this, and happy Chinese New Year. Today I'm going to show a deck called Floowandereeze. So if you want to 恶心人家 or make people lives harder, and this is your deck. So I think before I start with the key cards, I will show you the usual board that Floowandereeze like to have. So which is one imperm and one trap card that was set, and most of the case that's it. So bear with me, later on I will add on the bonus card together and how it will make this deck complete. So normally you will have one emperor standing there, which let opponent attack special summon monster cannot activate their effect. This is very effective against link monster. While this trap card is during main phase, your opponent main phase also can, which you activate, and you can normal summon one Floowandereeze monster, which we're going to show you later. And normally this help you to summon more monster and do your combo during your opponent turn that interrupt them. So other than that, I want to show you the strongest card inside this deck, which is Shifter and Featherstorm. So Shifter is affecting most of the deck that's require graveyard, at least in this meta, that can shut down a lot of deck. While Featherstorm, as long as you have one wind attribute, wing beast, you can activate, and its effect is negate all the monster effect in this turn, no matter from the graveyard, field, or hand. So both of these cards most of the time can shut down the opponent, at least on that turn. And the best point that Flu can play with this is because it can do the recycling, and that's where we come my favorite card on this deck is the Monarch. So Monarch have its effect, it can return one card on the field and one card of either graveyard back to top deck. So this condition, this benefit, it give you to control opponent or your own deck that your next draw. And this is really fun to play, especially for me, because this gives you a lot of flexibility to control the game condition. So in order to do all this play, the main thing is we call it as small birds, or the key cards from the Floowandereeze. So the key concept of Floowandereeze is you want to get your big birds like the Emperor, Monarch, and even Apex to come up. And in order to do that, you need all your Floowandereeze key card, which I'm going to show you the usual thing that we do. So the only one card combo we have is Robina. So basically this can search another 1-star wing beast monster. Sorry, I mean level 4 or lower wing beast monster. So normally when you have this card on hand, you can straight away normal summon, and you can search for another flu monster, and in the same chaining you can straight away normal summon and search for the big birds we call like the Emperor or Monarch. So from them, normally we search with Emperor and tribute summon, and from Emperor you can search for this trap, because Emperor allow you to search for Floowandereeze spell trap, and it doesn't have once per turn. And there you go, you can straight away get your minimum board, one Emperor and one trap card from here. So during your opponent turn, when you want to interrupt them, you can straight away open this and summon your full monster. So I'm going to show you again the according to the correct chain link. So we start with Robina. So there will be chain 1. You should search for, we call it eagle. And during this chain 1, you can normal summon again, which we continue with this. And that's where the chain 1 of Robina resolve. And then we start a new chain. Chain 1 again, search with Empum. And within that chain 1, we tribute and normal summon to resolve Elan chain 1. And from here, we can do a chain block, which is we chain 1 Empum to search the spell trap. And these two, whenever the small bird leave the field when they are face up, it will go banish. So even if the opponent use evenly match, when they are face up leaving the field, they are still face up. So at here, when I tribute, we will, both of these birds will be on banish. And from here, we can change one of them to change chain block to ensure Empum search it. And this chain block is useful especially for Ash Blossom or Urara. So normally we will change block for we'll get back Egan back to hand as priority, because during your opponent turn, when you summon Egan, you are guaranteed to search your big birds, which is very important for your back deck to continue to play. And of course, this can be exception when certain conditions met. But anyway, we'll get back this. So there will be chain 1, search for spell trap, chain 2, back to hand. So in resolve, back to hand, and we get back to this. So normally we set and enter during opponent turn, and main phase when they're doing something and you want to interrupt, make sure we open. And chain 1, we normal summon. After resolve, we start new chain. Chain 1, search for big bird. Chain 2, back to hand. So resolve, and this is chain block already, so we're able to straight with search. In this case, I will get a monarch, and from here you can continue normal summon and change 1 to search for level 4 lower wing beast. So in this case, this search is totally up to the condition, whether for example you want to get another full monster, either you want to banish their graveyard, or there are certain cards you want to get back at banish zone, the full archetype card, or you want to be more flexible to play with other wing beasts. In my case, I play one DD Crow, which you can search on hand, and it's very flexible when you want to banish your opponent graveyard card. So later we'll come back to this slot, this point, for other cards that we can put. So in this case, I'll just search this. From here, we can tribute summon, and from here you can change. This is must activate effect, so for sure this will chain 1, and you can target 1 card on the field and graveyard, and when this card tribute with wing attribute, it can target 1 more card back to hand. So chain 1, you want to interrupt opponent field, and to chain block it, you can trigger 1 of its effect. I will trigger again with this only, so chain 2. So at this point, even if opponent want to negate your effect, they will negate this only, unless they use target negate. So when resolve, you will back to hand, and this will interrupt your opponent field. Or there's another option is during chain 2, you can chain 3 also, which is when this card is in graveyard and you tribute level 7 or higher monster, this can be banished as a cost, and it make all your opponent monster face down. So this is a very strong effect that can, if you use correctly on certain condition, you can straight away shut down opponent on that turn, and during the turn you can you can either clear their field or even at the end win the game. So this is a very strong card as well. So this is the overall cycle that Flu will do. And just now I mentioned the two strongest card, which is, one second, the two strongest card here, and I will show you how we play with the Flu. So for example, with these two cards, so during your main phase, you can activate this effect for shifter. So why we want to throw shifter first of all, at least it won't be called by your opponent, and second, when you normal summon and activate effect, at least there won't be Whaler, because Whaler need to send to graveyard, or even after you search there won't be Lockbird, because which also need to send to graveyard as cost, and shifter prevent all those for you. So after that, chain 1, we search for Eagle, and then search for Empum, Tribute, chain 1, search the trap again, did search, sorry, chain 1, chain 2, back to hand, search on hand, and reset this, and when pass to your opponent turn, and there is shifter on there, so most of the deck that rely on graveyard will be very difficult to play with. And in order to have this condition continue, what we can do is during opponent, we can activate this, normal summon, and then this will be banished after resolve. Chain 1, chain 2, back to hand, search. What we need is Monarch. Continue, chain 1, and whichever card we do, and after that we'll tribute for Monarch, and chain 1, you can target one card on the field back to top deck, and one card either graveyard to back to top deck as well. So here you can interact your opponent for one card back to their top deck, and here you can back your shifter back to your top deck as well. So after this turn, if opponent end like this, during our next turn, our first draw will be shifter again, and in this turn the shifter effect is no more anymore, which we can activate again. So this concept applies to the Featherstorm as well. It's just that during opponent turn, we activate, go to graveyard, and we do the same thing for the Monarch back to the top deck. When we draw, we can set again. During opponent turn, we can open it again. So this is the recycling with Monarch using the Flu engine with these two cards. One is everything banish, that everything goes to graveyard, that is it will banish. Another is Featherstorm, which negate opponent all monster effect anywhere from hand, banish, graveyard, or on field. So you will say that these two cards might based on your luck whether you draw it or not to use it. So there are other kind of play as well. and this require for the field spell card. So the field spell card have two effects. First is you reveal one level 1 flu monster in your hand and banish one flu card, and that will be considered your additional normal summon. And this, if combo with any of the flu small bird, and it can help you to summon out at least one Emperor or Monarch or Apex. But what I'm going to show you is the play with double Monarch or double Apex. So I will be starting to show you with this. So first we will activate the field spell. Maybe I activate here, easy to see. And then chain 1 effect, review, and then I banish Robina, normal summon, chain 1, chain 2, back to hand, search for Emperor, then normal summon, effect, search for another flu monster. So in this case, if your hand totally don't have any other flu monster, it will be better you search this search must search for another flu monster, because in later on you need to at least have 3 flu monster on hand already, and later I will show you now. So after you search this, normal summon again, chain 1, chain 2. So chain 2 back to hand, and chain this chain 1 will search for this trap. So you will set. And during opponent turn, so that's where we rely on the second effect of this field spell, because during your opponent turn, when they normal summon, we can chain this, and we can normal summon a flu monster. So for example, if opponent normal summon, we can normal summon Eagle. So chain 1, chain 2, back to hand, we will get Monarch and normal summon Robina, effect. We will search for the last bird, which is token, and from here can tribute, and its effect, we can target 1 card on the field back to top and 1 graveyard, and here you can interrupt. And since we got tribute win, we can target 1 additional card back to hand, which we will target our own Monarch. And you can chain 2 this to chain block. Since Monarch doesn't have once per turn, which means after this resolve, you interrupt once. In later on you want to interrupt again, you can use this, and this time you normal summon this one. Chain 1, you can target either graveyard 1 card to banish. So in this case, I will target this one. So after banish it successfully, you can normal summon 1 again. This time I target token, I normal summon token, and I can target 1 banish card back to hand, flu card. So I will target this to guarantee I can use this trap again, and I can normal summon Monarch again. So at here you can do the same thing again, target 1 card on the field back to top and 1 graveyard and 1 additional card, and that's up to you, up to the condition, whether you want to return this or you want to return 1 more card, because at here you can't really have more normal summon during your opponent turn, so it's really up to you based on the condition, and you can have chain block either one of them. So this is the double monarch we can do with Flu, and this applies same with Apex because Apex doesn't have once per turn as well. So you can use the same method, for example using this to normal summon. Once you negate, you can use the trap to normal summon again. And in this case, if we doesn't need this to banish this trap, you can even flip down them. So this is totally up to a different condition that you're going to play. Alright, so I would say that's the most of the combo, as in how we can use Flu to maximize the play of Apex and Monarch, as well as Shifter and Feather Storm. And now we will finally talk about the key cards, how we can maximize our consistency. Alright, so I will start with the big boss. We want the big birds. So normally in the deck, I will try to play 4. So this deck, to be honest, is quite easy to break sometimes. So I will keep it as 4. Of course, there are conditions where you need to play one additional emblem, and later on site I will show that as well. So 4 of these big bird, and there will be 2 monarch and 1 apex. For me, 2 monarch is a must because to be honest, monarch can help you do a lot of things, and there are cases where you need to cost 1 monarch and can't be recycled or returned, and then at least you have 1 more monarch that left to help you to recycle your resource. And we continue with small birds, which most of it is the Flu key cards. So as I mentioned, the only card that can 1 card combo, which is Robina. So for sure this will be playing 3. And then Eagle, the only card that will be searching for big birds, which is very important as well. We're playing 3. And the 3 the card that will banish graveyard, and this I will be playing 2. And last but not least, token that collect card from the banish zone, collect Flu cards. I will be playing 1. So total your small bird is only 9. So in order to increase the consistency, for sure we need to play their key card, which is the map, the field card, because this field card is very beneficial for you. First of all, if you have any other Flu monster with field card, you can at least, for example, you get this, even though it can't activate effect, but you still can, not until like can't activate effect, but this card when there are 1 card alone is really hard to do the board. But when with this field card, you can at least banish Robina and back to hand. And the best condition would be Eagle with the field card, because this guarantee chain block for the Eagle to search for the big birds. And other than that, during our opponent turn, they won't be so easily to normal summon, because when they normal summon, they will need to see you to play to normal summon and do some maybe monarch or apex come down. So for sure, this will be playing 3 as well. And this quick spell card is very important as well, because its fact is to banish 1 wing beast monster from your hand or face of field, and add 1 Floowandereeze monster or field spell from deck to your hand. So for example, at here, all of it is Wing Beast, and let's say you are break. The worst condition, you have this. So you can at least banish this card and search for maybe Robina to help you to do the board at least. But the best thing about this is it is a quick spell, and it is a cost for banish the wing-based monster. So if let's say our Robina or Eaglin or any of these small birds was chained by Impem or Whaler that target negate, you can straight away chain to cost them up to prevent by preventing the target. So for example, you normal summon Eaglin, chain 1, and opponent Impem or Whaler you can straight away chain 3, cost it, and this 2 effect is still run if they don't have any response and you waste their Impem or Whaler. So this is a very good card, and I'll play S3 as well. And last but not least, this trap that we keep showing just now is very important for the board, but we will only play 1 for the consistency. So this is the main thing of the flu deck, the small bird, in order to summon the big birds, to have a high attack, to interrupt opponent, to win the game, and some spell and trap to increase the consistency, and to do some interaction or combo. So besides of these key cards, we'll talk about some spell. So all this spell here is to increase consistency for the deck, which is 3 pot of duality and 2 pot of prosperity. So normally if these 2 cards on hand, the order I will normally always do is use prosperity first to flip for 6 cards, and those 6 cards will be go to bottom once you select one of them. I mean 5 cards, and then only you do the duality to flip the 3 cards. So from that play with these 2 cards, you should really see the top 9 cards of your deck, and which have a quite high chance to get your small bird in order to do your board. Other than that, is the spell and trap. So Featherstorm, definitely we'll play with this deck, but it's just about whether you want to put it in main deck or totally side deck. For me, I will play 1 as main deck, because I will play with Triple Tactic Trust. Because for flu deck, the most impactful card to flu is the Lockbird, because once they throw Lockbird, you are totally stopped. And in order to prevent opponent like straight OTK you because you don't have board, you can at least have a chance for Trust, and you can set for Featherstorm to survive the next round. And of course, Trust is very useful for going second as well, for searching the side normal spell or trap card. Other than that, we have Terraforming to ensure we get the field spell, and Call by as usual to prevent the hand trap, and the Dimensional Fissure. So this is a very strong card as well, because it banish monster card that go to graveyard, but this also allow you to prevent some hand trap, whichever hand trap that require to send to grave as cost. For example, Whaler, Lockbird, as well as Usagi. So this is the spell trap we're going to use, and of course you can play 3, but for consistency wise I will be playing 2 only. And last but not least is the hand trap. Shifter definitely will be playing 3 because it's very impactful and totally no effect to this deck. So for sure playing 3. And the remaining hand trap, for my choices, I will still go for Maxi. Even though there will be some conflict with Shifter, but for me Maxi is still very strong and more flexible. And before that I will be putting for Urara or Ash Blossom, but I think in this meta maybe Imperm will be better, so I just put this, and Trust have more choice as well. For like in such case, if I don't have a wing attribute monster on the field, at least during my Trust I can put for Imperm. Okay, so last but not least is the one slot that you can put for a wing-based monster that can search by Robina. So for my choices, I will use DD Crow because I think banish graveyard 1 card is still very strong, and it's quite flexible, and it's discard to graveyard, which also conflict with Shifter. But anyhow, I still prefer to using DD Crow. And if you recall in the rank up game round 1, you can see the Flu player have another interesting choices. That card, and maybe you can catch back on the rank up round 1 video, because I saw he's choosing another wing beast monster that on the field when opponent normal summon or special summon, and it can flip a coin in order to turn it to face up or face down for that monster, and it can do 3 times per turn. And I think that's quite an interesting choice, and it's a good option for putting into the deck as well. So if you think there is other good choices for putting the wing beast to this slot, please comment up and let us know. Okay, now for the extra. So to be honest, for Flu it doesn't need extra at all, but anyhow they will be playing these few cards. So I think the main thing here is like this: either you want to survive that round to do Fuchu, or there are certain card or certain field that you need a total shutdown with this card, and it can return 1 card back to hand as well. But most of the time, I think what I will do is doing a Zeus. So there will be required 2 level 1 monster in order to do this, and this card can be direct attack. Once direct attack, we will put this download and then special summon for Zeus. So Flu got one side effect, is when they activated effect, when they activated their effect, you can't really special summon on that turn. So either that is leftover of 1-star Flu monster, the small birds from last turn, or what you can do is play with this field spell. For example, normal summon without activating the effect, and use a few spell to have the additional normal summon again. And then you have 2 1-star monster in order to special summon this. So this is on a very rare condition or rare cases that you need to do this, but it's better than nothing, and it's quite useful when you at least have that. So at here, after you attack, you will become down, and then become this. So you got 4 material. You can wipe the field for twice with juice. And for me, that's the extra I will use. Of course, you can use those card that when sent to grave, it will have effects. Or let me know for your options what kind of other cards you will be putting for your extra deck. But for me, this is the 5 main card I will be using, and other I will just fill in for any extra deck card just for the pots. And make sure always your extra deck have 15 cards because you need it for the pot to banish as a cost. So that's all for the extra, and last but not least is the side. Okay, for the side, I will put 1 emblem there just in case when there are certain decks I require to use 2 emblem. And most of this situation is that opponent deck have certain cards that make it difficult to recycle my emblem. Either I can't really banish from graveyard or take back from the banish zone. For example, I think the Snake Eye that can push down to the spell trap zone is very annoying, because once they push down my only emblem, my only card that can recycle is using a Monarch, and I need to waste that target 1 card back to top deck or return to hand on my emblem. So sometimes I will use 2 emblem to play with them. And of course, Dark Ruler no more, very strong card that can break the field, because from my deck build, my Flu if empty can't really OTK, so I will be just choosing to use this, and I will just play multiple turn with them. And another trust, because there's quite many of normal spell trap to search for, so another trust. And this will be my trust target to clear the board. And yeah, this is useful for take control or draw card also. And through their own continuous spell. So this spell, when on field, it have a continuous effect that when you want to tribute summon that require 2 tribute, we can send opponent 1 monster or spell trap, which means there are 1 card as one of the tribute. So for example, if I want to summon emblem and I only have 1 monster, but with this card on field, I can send opponent 1 card on their field to graveyard. Is either monster or spell also can. And this doesn't have chain link, so it's a continuous effect. So you can straight away pop it down, summon it like that, and it doesn't have once per turn. So it doesn't chain and doesn't have once per turn. And if you have 2 emblem, it's a very strong card to clear opponent field to 结场. And other than that, it's very good card that you play it first when open hand, because the second effect is you can put up to 2 wing beast monster to bottom deck and draw that same amount of number. And when you activate this first, sometimes player might think you are break, you don't have the key card to start, and then maybe Urara this, or even Usagi, and that help you to bait a hand trap to come out, and then you can really do your field after that. Other than that, I have pulled 2 Ash. This one really up to you lah, but I think there might be other deck. Ash is more useful compared with Imperm, so I just keep it. 3 Cyclone for me is a must to play with those continuous trap, and the priority I will say anti-spell fragment, because as you can see, Flu is quite a heavy spell, a lot of spell cards required, and there's only 9 small birds, and only 3 of them can be doing 1 card. So if you gonna anti-spell, it will be very difficult. So other than that, there might be like skill drain or summon limit. All this card is very tough for the Flu. So for my choices, I will be playing 3 for this. And of course, the Feather Storm for you to go first. And 1 will be in main for my choices, and 2 will be inside. So I think that's almost most of the part for the Flu, for the side. And I think there's 2 more conditions that will be exception. So one of the exception I would say is when I have Fisher, and when I have the Spill spell, normally if I can summon a big bird, it depends on opponent deck. If it really heavily requires graveyard, I might summon Apex to be there. So of course this is not our usual board, because without a trap we are not that flexible. It's totally opponent, up to the opponent when we can to have normal summon. But the Apex, the main thing is to protect Fisher. If Fisher, it can really totally shut down that deck, they will try all their way to clear this, and this is to prevent that. And they can't they must clear it with 1 negation and without normal summon, because if they normal summon, I can do again with another Apex, which then need to clear through this with another negation at here. So this is one of the exception condition that sometimes we don't really do that trap and Emperor. Other than that, is Monarch. So when there are certain condition, opponent players, like their hand or their graveyard is very well known, and they have very few cards left, and they are really require their next draw phase to get the card to continue play. And most of those time I don't really go for Emperor, but Monarch, so straight away control their next draw card, which will set some card from the graveyard that is totally useless for them on next turn, and force them to draw that card. So during next turn, they just draw a useless card. For example, Maxi, that is totally useless to Flu. And when they draw, they can't do anything, and then need to force the end phase to you, which you can continue again. And for Flu, normally when you have any of 3 of the big birds, and for sure you will end the game already, because it's 2.7, 2.8. Apex is 2.7 also. So I think this is another exception that should we play with Monarch to force them to draw another useless card. And of course there is risk that you don't have the trap to do during opponent turn. But this is really up to the game condition, I would say. Alright, so that's all from me to intro about the Floowandereeze deck. So please comment below if you want to have more content about other deck profile, and please like and subscribe, and thank you. Bye bye.